Introduction. The Invisible Empire. There's a phrase whispered through history, a chilling prophecy of control. The New World Order. To some, it's nothing more than political rhetoric, but to others, it's the blueprint of a secret global agenda, a plan to create a one-world government, erase borders, and control humanity through surveillance, finance, and fear. It's been mentioned by presidents, printed on currency, and carved into stone. The symbols are everywhere, if you know where to look. This is the story of how one phrase became the ultimate conspiracy, and why so many still believe the world is being quietly taken over. The origins of a phrase, the term New World Order, isn't new. It's been used for centuries, from the 18th century Freemasons to post-World War leaders dreaming of peace. But it truly entered modern paranoia in 1990, when President George H.W. Bush addressed the world. Out of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge to many. He meant unity and global cooperation after the Cold War. But to conspiracy thinkers, it sounded like a confession that a secret elite was finally putting its plan into motion. Power behind the curtain. The core idea of the New World Order is simple: that a small group of global elites secretly control world events. Politicians, bankers, corporate heads, and royal families, connected through shadowy organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Group, and Trilateral Commission. These groups meet behind closed doors. No cameras, no public minutes. And that secrecy only feeds the belief that they're planning something far beyond diplomacy, a total restructuring of society itself. The symbols of control. Every great conspiracy has its symbols, and the NWO has plenty. The Eye of Providence on the US dollar bill. The phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum, Latin for New Order of the Ages. Secret handshakes, pyramids, and the Owl of Bohemian Grove, all said to mark allegiance to hidden masters. Critics say these are coincidences of design and history, but to believers they're not decorations, they're declarations. The architects, who's really in charge? Depending on who you ask, the NWO's architects include the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and global banking dynasties like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. These families are said to control central banks, influence wars, and dictate world policy from the shadows. They're accused of funding both sides of conflicts, not for ideology but for control, because when nations are in debt, power belongs to the lender. The global government plan. At the heart of the New World Order theory is the idea of a one-world government, a centralized authority controlling all nations under a single law, currency, and military. Supporters say it's the path to peace. Critics say it's the end of freedom. The United Nations, World Economic Forum, and World Bank are often portrayed as tools of this agenda, stepping stones toward a world without sovereignty. The rise of surveillance. If the NWO wants control, it needs data. Today, billions of cameras watch our streets. Phones track our movements. Algorithms monitor what we read, watch, and think. In the name of safety and convenience, humanity has built its own digital prison. Believers argue this surveillance web isn't accidental. It's the New World Order's infrastructure, disguised as innovation. The economic chains. Money. It's the blood of control. Central banks, international trade systems, and digital currency all link back to a handful of financial institutions. Conspiracy theorists argue that economic crises, from the Great Depression to modern recessions, are engineered to create dependency. The goal? A single digital currency under one authority. No cash, no privacy. Total control. Crisis as a catalyst. Every major leap toward centralization follows chaos. 9/11. Financial collapses, pandemics. Believers say these aren't coincidences. They're orchestrated crises used to justify surveillance laws, global cooperation, and emergency powers. Never let a good crisis go to waste, as one political strategist once said. For conspiracy believers, every disaster is another brick in the New World Order's foundation. The media machine. If the NWO exists, it doesn't need to silence everyone. It just needs to control the narrative. 6 corporations own most of the world's media. A handful of billionaires shape what billions of people see. Believers claim the news, entertainment, and even social media are tools of indoctrination, shaping public opinion and normalizing control. Whether it's fear, distraction, or division, the end result is the same: a compliant population. The Great Reset. In 2020, the World Economic Forum introduced the Great Reset, a plan to rebuild economies after COVID-19. To most, it's about sustainability and progress. But to NWO believers, it was confirmation, the global elite openly admitting their agenda. They say it's the soft unveiling of a new economic system. Digital IDs, carbon credits, and social credit scores, all under the guise of saving the planet. Technology and the digital prison, artificial intelligence, facial recognition, digital passports, tools of innovation, or chains of control. If the NWO wants to track and manage humanity, the digital world is the perfect cage. Every transaction, every movement, every thought, recorded and analyzed. In this vision of the future, freedom doesn't end overnight. It fades with every tap, click, and scan. The depopulation theory. One of the most disturbing claims is that the NWO seeks to reduce the global population to make humanity easier to control. They point to monuments like the Georgia Guidestones, which once called for the population to be maintained under 500 million. Vaccines, wars, and engineered diseases are often cited as the tools of this silent culling. It's a grim theory, but one that spread far beyond the fringe. Religion and the one-world faith. Some believers say the NWO isn't just political, it's spiritual. They claim it seeks to merge all religions into one universal faith under a false prophet or AI god. From ancient texts to modern prophecies, the fear of a unifying, deceptive power runs deep. The ultimate blending of control and worship. To them, the NWO isn't just after the world, it's after the soul. Whistleblowers and warnings. Over the decades, politicians, journalists, and even world leaders have hinted at hidden power structures. John F. Kennedy spoke of secret societies. Henry Kissinger warned of a new world order. Edward Snowden exposed mass surveillance. Each revelation fuels the fire, a mosaic of half-truths, coincidences, and clues that keep the theory alive. The power of belief. Why do so many believe in the NWO? Because it makes sense of chaos. When the world feels unpredictable, the idea of a hidden hand gives comfort, even if that hand is sinister. It turns random events into patterns, coincidence into conspiracy. It's not madness, it's meaning, a story that explains everything when nothing else does. The critics speak. Skeptics argue the NWO theory overestimates coordination and underestimates chaos. Governments are too divided, too inefficient to pull off global unity. They say power isn't centralized, it's fragmented, driven by greed and short-term politics, not a secret master plan. And yet believers counter, that's exactly what they want you to think. A world in transition. Whether real or imagined, the New World Order mirrors something true. We are becoming one world. Our systems, economies, and technologies are merging. Borders are more symbolic than solid. Maybe the NWO isn't a plan, maybe it's an evolution. And we, the people, are both witnesses and participants in it. The eternal question. So what's real? Is the New World Order an elaborate fantasy born from mistrust, or a subtle reality hiding in plain sight? Every generation has feared unseen rulers. Every empire has dreamed of lasting control. Maybe the NWO isn't coming. Maybe it's always been here. Final word, the order and the chaos. Perhaps the truth isn't hidden in secret meetings or coded symbols, but in our fear of losing freedom. The New World Order isn't just a theory. It's a reflection of us, our paranoia, our powerlessness, our search for meaning in a world spinning faster than we can comprehend. We've built global systems. We surrendered privacy. We trusted technology. And maybe, just maybe, that's how the New World Order begins.